pesto sandwiches served with creamy tomato soup. First, I'm going to start with the zucchini. You're going to slice it in 1-inch thick slices. I'm just going to take this top layer off and dispose of that. So you'll be getting 4 pieces out of 1 zucchini. For this recipe, we're going to need 2 slices per sandwich. So now I'm going to lay out my zucchini slices like so, and I'm going to marinate them with a little bit of olive oil. You just want to have a nice light coating of oil. So now I'm going to season it with some flaky sea salt. The salt is also going to draw out any extra moisture that the zucchini has. A little crushed black pepper. And now the dry Italian herbs. About 1 teaspoon again. And what you're going to do now is you're going to carefully flip over the zucchini and you're going to repeat the same steps. I'm going to grab a bowl and I'm going to have these marinate, and they're going to marinate for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, next we're going to be starting on the arugula pesto. So to this blender, I'm going to add the 2 cups of arugula, the fresh basil. All you need to do is take it off the stems as so. The 1 cup Parmesan cheese. You're going to grab a clove of garlic, take the peel off, throw it in there. Crushed chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper. And lastly, the fresh lemon juice. Carefully place the lid on. You're going to pulse it first. This is when you're going to add your olive oil. 1 full cup of olive oil. You're going to slowly drizzle it in as you're pulsing. So now at this point, I'm going to carefully take it off, and you're going to reserve this for the recipe later for the sandwiches. So I'm going to start with my soup. In my pan, I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of butter. This is plant-based butter. 1 more tablespoon of butter. You want to melt the butter. Make sure the butter is completely melted before you add the garlic. Now when you're cooking the garlic, make sure that you put the temperature on low. You're going to cook it for about a minute until it gets soft, light, and fragrant. To that, I'm going to add my flour, and you're going to whisk that all together. This is going to create a nice, light roux. And you're going to add 1 tablespoon of salt, pepper, 1 tablespoon, the reserved paste from earlier. We're going to add 2 cans of crushed tomatoes, 28. And you want to stir that inside. Now I'm going to add to that my plant-based milk. It's 3 cups of plant-based milk. This will give it that nice creamy taste. You want to stir to combine. Now at this point, I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese. It's going to be 1 cup, and you want to save a little for garnish later. And you're going to add lastly your 1 tablespoon of fresh basil. Stir all the ingredients to combine them. Perfect. At this point, I am going to put the lid on my soup, and you're going to cook it, checking it every 5 minutes and stirring it. I'm going to put it on low heat for 20 minutes while I grill my zucchini. I have my grill pan already hot. I grab my pastry brush and I add a little bit of olive oil. You're going to get your zucchini and you're going to place them carefully side by side. You want to make sure that you cook them on each side for about 5 minutes. At this point, we're going to let it sit for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to slightly turn them. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. So now I'm going to turn them vertically. Now the longer these cook, the more delicate they're going to get because they are getting soft. So now you can see that it's boiling. I'm going to put up my temperature just a bit to medium heat. Make sure to put the lid on so it doesn't splatter everywhere. That'll cook for about 10 more minutes before we blend it. I'm going to turn off my heat at this point because the zucchini is ready. Carefully place them on your plate. Our soup has been cooking now for about 25 minutes. The tool that I'm going to use is going to be the immersion blender. So now you're going to carefully place the blender inside the soup, and I'm going to blend it on low. It's going to look like velvet. and I'm gonna start my zucchini and pesto sandwich. I'm gonna use the same grill pan from earlier that I used on the zucchini. Again, I like to season it with a little bit of olive oil. I have this on low to medium heat. So for my sandwich, I have some nice thick rustic sourdough bread, and you're gonna carefully spread the butter. You wanna make sure there's enough fat on the bread. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down. At this point, I am going to grab 1 tablespoon of our basil pesto. I'm going to carefully spread it from end to end. I'm going to carefully place our zucchini. We're going to add 3 slices of tomatoes. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my other piece of bread. I'm going to carefully place it pesto side down. I'm going to grab my spatula, and you're going to lightly press on top. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna flip it over at this point very carefully, and you can hear that sizzle again. You're gonna turn off your heat. I'm gonna carefully transport my sandwich over to my cutting board. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna plate our soup and sandwich combo. I'm gonna get a little bit of my Parmesan cheese and just sprinkle it across. I cut my basil into ribbons. As you can see, they're in long, beautiful ribbons. To add a little kick to it, I like to add a little bit of crushed chili flakes just on the top like that. It's nice and smooth, definitely creamy. The cheese gives it a nice light saltiness, but not too overbearing. This is the perfect soup for a cold day with the sandwich or just by itself. I'm Chef Alessandra, and today I made this creamy, vegan, rustic tomato soup served with a grilled zucchini and arugula pesto sandwich. If you like this recipe, go ahead and catch us on tasteshow.com and go ahead and cook at home this delicious recipe as well and enjoy. Thank you.